Welcome back to another Outriders build guide. I'm LtBuzzLitebeer, and I wanted to first apologize for how long it has been since I last posted one of these guides. Unfortunately, IRL obligations and covering other IPs has really dominated my time. Anyways, since I had a bit of a break in the clouds, I was finally able to hit the grind and get this video ready for publication. Let's go. Like many of you, I have been waiting for the Technomancer Borealis gear set to work properly in order to take advantage of the 90% extra damage versus frozen targets. And since it was recently fixed and is now functioning, I went to work getting this TRICK-NO build fully operational. But this build is not what you are probably expecting. Now, just in case you didn't know, in Outriders, you can mix and match legendary gear sets to other off-brand characters. And that is what I have done here, as I am pairing the Technomancer Borealis Monarch gear with a one-off Trickster build to give you this Frankenstein of the TRICK-NO, which is fully customized to take advantage of the huge freeze damage bonuses. I would normally sit here and explain every single node on the Trickster class tree that you wanted to select and why, but we're all grizzled Outriders veterans here, so I'm just going to let the node selection footage play in the background as I explain what and why I am selecting these points. Now, since we are still wanting to take full advantage of outright damage, especially close range damage, pretty much anytime we can select a node for more damage like arms trick or death probability, we do. Skills cooldown reduction is something our gear doesn't quite give us enough of, so any points that can be spent into cooldown are points well spent. Remember that Trickster receives large damage bonuses once skills are activated, so we want these back off of cooldown and available for use as quickly as possible. Now, this TRICK-NO setup is built around a shotgun, so the variance at the end of the tree of selecting the shotgun adept node is completely optional. If you want to use an assault rifle, select the node above for more AR damage. Once fully completed, your class tree will look like this, and it should have a total of 6 master nodes unlocked. Skills and skill use are crucial to this TRICK-NO build, as each time we do activate one of these based on our class tree, we are going to stack up large damage bonuses. Hunt the Prey is the quintessential Trickster skill as it plays into our run and gun style, allowing quick teleports behind enemy targets. Now, Hunt the Prey will also buff our shield slightly, as well as reload our weapon magazines to full based on one of our gear mods. Now, I personally like using Time Rift, as I play a lot of solo CT-15s and need that extra bit of crowd control to avoid just being overrun. Time Rift applies weakness to any targets caught in its aura, which is helpful, but the fact that it suspends targets up in the air and not chewing on my character's face is why I choose to use it. Venator's Knife is also a possibility here. The choice is yours. And finally, Twisted Rounds are always a smart choice for the final skill, as they not only add extra firepower bonuses to each shot, but they also avoid enemy armor, so you can use your class points for nodes other than armor piercing. This will probably be one of the shortest weaponry explanations I have ever created for one of my build guides because it's all about your primary weapon. Now, since I play on PC and have decent enough aim, I chose to roll with the Death Shield, but let me first explain why. Fortress gives us an enormous 43% damage bonus based on our armor, so we have it procced pretty much 100% of the time, and we need that damage bonus as we are giving up a second weapon damage talent in order to use ultimate freezing bullets. This mod is found on the Absolute Zero Legendary Auto Rifle, and we want this particular mod, or a lesser tier version, in order to apply the freezing effects to our targets in order to take advantage of the Borealis gear set 90% extra damage to freezing targets. Makes sense, right? If you prefer using auto weaponry, you could always just run with the Absolute Zero and then add a major damage increasing talent like Dark Sacrifice, Fortress, or even Killing Spree. Just make sure to respec your class tree for AR damage versus shotgun damage if you choose to go this route. Gear, and more gear. Yeah, this TRICK-NO is all about the gear, more specifically the legendary gear set of Borealis Monarch. So you will need to first farm for and loot the waistcloth, gloves, and boots while on your Technomancer, as legendary gear will drop based on which character you are using at the time. And before you ask the question, yes, you can use alternate Borealis pieces, but your build will suffer from unusable mods, so shoot for the waistcloth, gloves, and boots. So beginning with the headgear, I specifically chose the Ugaki Utaro's Cowl, as it comes standard with bonus firepower, close range damage, and not my first choice, but healing received. The real reason we want the cowl is for the instant reload mod, that reloads our primary weapon to max ammo each time we use Hunt the Prey skill. Now, since ammo management is key for this build, I have also added on Ammo Bargain, found on the lower Chronosuit armor, and it gives us back 20% ammo each time we get a kill while the Twisted Rounds skill is active. Now, I know the Ugaki Utaro's Cowl is really difficult to find, and if you don't have one, a possible alternative would be Tanner's Hat, and then just add on the Ammo Bargain mod to that. The upper armor is a piece of epic gear I just looted, with bonus firepower, close range damage, and cooldown reduction. Now, Captain Hunter really helps us out versus hardened elite baddies, and I also have mitigation from death on this gear piece. Hindsight being 2020, I would actually forego using MFD, as my gear just has enough sustain and health already on it. So, if you can, skip mitigation from death, go full YOLO and slap on another damage talent for even more DPS. The lower armor is the first piece of Borealis Monarch, and you're about to see why you want these 3 specific pieces of pants, gloves, and boots for your build. Now, the waistcloth comes with bonus firepower, status power, and long range damage, of which SP and LRD are not what you want for this build, but you're going to understand why you want these 3 pieces in a moment. Now, the pants come standard with Freezing Boost, a Tier 2 gear mod that grants an additional 15% damage against enemies afflicted by freeze. I've also added on the newly buffed Personal Space for 25% bonus close range damage. Now, the reason we don't want to use the Borealis helmet or upper body armor is that they already come with 2 mods on each that we can't use for this build. If you do want to use them and you attempt to change those mods, you can apply 1 damage talent, but you're going to be left with cold snap mods, which, since we're on the Trickster, are useless mods as we don't have that skill available to use. The gloves are Borealis, with max health, cooldown reduction, and long range damage, and since we do get health on the gloves and boots, now maybe you can see why you could in theory skip using mitigation from death. The gloves are super vital for this build as they come standard with Shatter, a Tier 3 mod that gives us another 25% bonus damage versus frozen targets. Now, this is the freeze equivalent of Euthanizer for all of you out there running a toxic techno build. I've also added on Bloodlust for even more bonus firepower stacking buffs for achieving kill shots. The boots are the third and final piece of Borealis, activating the 90% bonus damage versus frozen targets buff, and like the gloves, the boots come standard with health, cooldown reduction, and long range damage. Now, the boots come standard with the Tier 3 mod of Sharp Eye, which is perfect for adding on even more bonus firepower for killing targets while aiming down the sights. I have also elected to add on Kingslayer for even more firepower versus elite targets by achieving critical hits. It's not the most glamorous, it's not the hardest hitting, and it's not the most efficient, but you've got to admit that when you load into a mission with Borealis gear on your Trickster, it's going to turn more than a few heads. Now, don't get me wrong, this build, the way I've shown you, is more than capable of soloing CT15 content. Now, where the TRICK-NO can really pick up a large bonus is if you have a squad mate willing to run a full freeze techno setup, as then you can take off freezing bullets from your primary and pick up, say, Dark Sacrifice, as they will do the freezing and you can do the killing. Also, try to look into rolling without mitigation from death, as it feels a bit like overkill for this setup. It's just what my chest piece already had on it, so it's what I went with. So there it all is, and if you have any questions, make sure to post them in the comment section below, and I will do my best to respond. Before I do go, I wanted to recognize and thank my group of patrons. You are a small yet mighty group, and I couldn't keep creating content like this without your continued support. Please take the time to smash that subscribe button and ring the bell to receive all future upload notifications from my channel. Also, if you could rate, share, and comment on this video, it's extremely helpful as it helps out with getting this video promoted within the YouTube algorithms. You can find me over on Twitch with weekly streams, join my community Discord server, which, by the way, has over 2,000 dedicated Outriders just like yourselves, and make sure to follow me on Twitter, posting my thoughts on most things gaming related. Links to all of these platforms in the video description below. Until the next one, this is LtBuzzLitebeer, signing off.